and welcome to another exciting video. Today I'm going to be talking about something I'm personally really excited for, and that is Pokemon Let's Go. Now, Pokemon Let's Go comes in both Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. I'm not sure what the difference is other than your starting Pokemon. I don't think there are many other differences that I'm aware of. But let's jump right into it, because I am definitely excited for this. So the first thing we see here, and I will be showing footage, you'll see it above. I don't know why I'm pointing, because again, I don't have a camera, so you can't actually see what I'm doing, which makes this even more awkward. But anyway, you'll see above in the footage that we have a whole new capture system. And a lot of people have been kind of wondering about this and maybe saying, oh, it's not so great, it's not so great. But you know what? I think this is a breath of fresh air. That's right. I think it's great. Now, I'll start off with the thing I don't like about it. The thing I don't like about it is that you can't weaken Pokemon to make them easier to capture. It's basically the Pokemon Go capture format. So you get, a little indicator and a circle, and the circle goes down, and the closer the circle is, the higher the capture rate will be, as far as I'm aware. If it goes by the Pokemon Go system, and from what I've seen explained, then that's how it works. So what you'll do is you'll take your Switch controller, or what I'm personally excited about, although I've heard some things, but we'll get into that in a little bit, your Pokemon Let's Go controller. They made a separate controller, and you'll flick it and it will throw out a Pokeball and you'll be able to catch the Pokemon. Now, the old system used to be that if you were trying to catch a Pokemon, you would have to weaken it and then throw a Pokeball. You didn't have to weaken it, but your chances of catching it became higher with weakening it. The reason I didn't like this is because it made it extremely difficult to actually catch certain Pokemon, especially when most of your Pokemon are of higher levels, so you'd accidentally knock them out, and that'd be that. Now, this system, again, with the Pokemon Go app for mobile, allows you to do something to make it easier. You'll have berries that you'll be able to give your Pokemon. We don't know all the berries yet, but if it goes by Pokemon Go, then we know that at least there's going to be raspberries, golden raspberries, nana berries, pineapple berries, possibly. But we'll see. Anyway, you give the Pokemon a berry, and it'll become easier to capture, which I think is a great mechanic, and I'll tell you why. It's more interactive, it feels more like the anime, and it feels more like what the game kind of should have been from the start. So, the whole cool thing about Pokemon is you throw a Pokeball and you catch it, right? And it's exciting because you see the Pokeball like flying out and you catch it, and now it's yours. With the Pokeball controller, you have a couple extra features. The Pokeball will shake. Apparently the control on that is pretty good. You get a good shake out of it, and then it will release the sound of the Pokemon you just caught. Now, there is another mechanic to the capture feature, and that is multiplayer. So, as far as I know, you can have a friend join you in the game. I believe the person actually has to be using your Switch. It's not made entirely clear yet. What I was hoping for was maybe some global play, play with people across the planet, and maybe have a more competitive scene. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be happening, but we got something good. So you could play with another person, and you'll actually be able to capture Pokemon with that person. What that means is, and you'll see it on screen in a second here, you can both throw a Pokeball at the same time for a dual capture, and you'll both be able to capture the Pokemon, as far as I understand, and the chances of catching it will be increased, which I think is really cool. It's a very exciting feature. We obviously haven't seen anything like this before. And it just kind of makes it a more interactive game. Another cool feature coming with Pokemon Let's Go is going to be the new moves. And I'll also put that on the screen right now. The new moves will be kind of different from what they were, so they'll be of a different type. If I recall correctly, Pikachu has a water type move, and I believe it's not just water type, but water electric. And he will use it. First of all, you could surf with Pikachu now, which wasn't a thing in any of the past games. But you can use this move, and obviously it'll be very cool because, the downside to some of your Pokemon is that they won't have moves that are out of their type. Meaning that, an electric type like Pikachu will always have electric type moves. Or normal moves like Quick Attack, things like that. So it's nice to see that new mechanic. I also saw something else, I believe it was from the Eevee new move, and it does a fire type attack. And I believe Eevee is a normal type Pokemon, so that will be very cool. And it will have the burn effect. I don't know if I'm remembering that correctly. You'll see on the footage. But I personally think this is a really exciting thing, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. Now, getting into the rest of the things we've seen so far from the E3 and from some of the footage seen on IGN, Pokemon will have different moves in general now, and the animations for their attacks are really astounding. Like, I know people were excited for Sun and Moon, and then obviously they kind of flopped. They weren't very exciting. I personally didn't think they were very interesting. I thought the whole Alolan thing was kind of cool, that we were getting new Pokemon from a different region. So it was like an interesting spin, but overall it wasn't like, you guys know what I mean. Any of you hardcore Pokemon players, you know what I mean. So I think that's really cool to be able to see the moves. That's something that's always been lacking from the game, or lacking to a large degree. Some of the games had some kind of moves. Essentially what this game is supposed to be inspired by Pokemon, Pokemon Yellow? Yeah, Pokemon Yellow, I think. And it isn't. As far as I can tell, it is just a remake of Yellow. But regardless, I think it's going to be really spectacular, because we've never seen Pokemon in this light before. Now, something I also failed to mention, and I'll get into right now, is the way we actually find Pokemon. So the biggest frustration of Pokemon in the past has been that you have to go through bushes and find them in a random encounter and keep getting every time you want to try to find something. And of course, most of the time it would be something you didn't want, like a Pidgey. Oh, God, I hate Pidgey. And that was always frustrating to me personally, as a longtime player. I really didn't like that encounter system, and I always thought, wouldn't it be great if the Pokemon were actually like wandering around? Well, guess what? They are. You can actually see them on the map. You don't have to walk through the tall grass and get random encounters every 5 seconds. Random encounters are gone. Gone. And I love it. I love them for that. That's such a cool thing. I mean, some people complain about it, but, you're always going to have haters and everything. I think that's great. You get to see the Pokemon traveling around, and that's so cool, because the whole premise of Pokemon is you explore the wilderness to find all these cool Pokemon. And what's the point in doing that if, they're just going to be hidden all the time? It's exciting to be able to see what you're going to catch on screen and going for it, instead of having to worry about random encounters, having to walk through, the tall grass and getting for the thousands, Rattata and Pidgey and Weedle. I don't want you, Pidgey and Weedle. Nobody does. I shouldn't talk badly about Pidgey and Weedle. Well, nobody likes Weedle, but Pidgey's cute. Pidgey is cute. But, I think that's so cool. And also another really cool thing is that your Pokemon travel with you, and we did see this in a couple of games. However, we didn't see it to quite this extent. So essentially, and I'll show the footage right here, you can actually travel on Pokemon that are big enough. So in this footage, we can see somebody riding on an Onix, and I think that is super cool. That's something that I always thought was lacking from Pokemon as well. And it's just overall such a cool... It's cool, man. Like, I'm trying not to be a fanboy. I'm trying to look at this from, a neutral perspective. And there are things that I don't like about this game, and I'll go into them in a minute. But I think for the most part, it's gonna be great. Like, the hype is deserved. It's so cool. Now, let me talk briefly about the Pokemon Go Plus. Let me actually just look it up right here to see the name. Pokeball Plus, that's what it's called. The Pokeball Plus is going to be a new feature that you can use with both Pokemon Let's Go and Pokemon Go. So essentially, what you could do is you have this Pokeball. It's it's small. It's comfortably small in your hand. It's not oversized. And it acts like a Go Plus for Pokemon Go, which I think is really neat. I never would have bought a Pokemon Plus, Pokemon Go Plus. I think that's what it's called, the armband thing for Pokemon Go myself. But the fact that this is able to be used with Pokemon Let's Go and it acts as both controller and I'm getting ahead of myself. So essentially what you could do with it is you can use it as a controller. You can throw the Pokeball with it. And what's really cool is that when you capture something, it will vibrate. And then when you catch it, it will play the noise of the Pokemon that you caught, which is very neat. And something else you could do is actually bring that Pokemon or whatever Pokemon you like from your bag with you in that Pokeball and bring it out into the real world and interact with it. And I think that's very cute. Obviously, as a guy, probably not going to be something I'm doing in public, although I think it's really adorable. I love how adorable all the Pokemon stuff is. I think it's aimed more at kids. However, another cool feature about it is the fact that you can use it as well with the Pokemon Go app, and that cross-play and that integration is beautiful. I think it's great. Another thing which I'm not happy about at all that has to do with the Pokeball is that you get Mewtwo with it. And Mew. You get Mew with it, and it's only exclusive to getting the ball, which means that you can't actually find it within the game. And I think that's a little bit gross because it's exploitative, which means you can't finish your Pokemon Index unless you have that. I don't want to blame them for this. For the average player, people usually don't go and fill out the Pokedex. People just play to have fun. But for obviously hardcore fans, it is an exploit. And I don't think it's a very good, thing to do in that regard. But anyway, I think it's going to be awesome. Now, on to some things I don't like. As far as the graphics goes, the graphics are not bad. The Pokemon themselves look great. I think overall, from what I've seen in E3, there's a lot of weird random pixelation, and in the world, and maybe they'll smooth that out once they release the game. I mean, I'm hoping that they will, and they more than likely will. But that's just something to be a little bit concerned about. Overall, the graphics look beautiful. Another thing I don't like is the fact that you can't actually battle wild encounters, which I always thought was a neat feature. Obviously, the downsides are, like I mentioned before, you can knock out the Pokemon and then you won't be able to catch it. But I think they could have maybe fixed that by having the same Pokemon Go mechanic where you throw the ball, but also allowing your Pokemon to do at least some damage or help out. Now, we don't have all the information yet, so this may be something that will happen, but we can't be sure. The battles look amazing. I know this is the part where I'm supposed to be talking negative, but the battles really do look amazing. You know what? I can't anymore. I'm excited, guys. This is such a cool game. I'm really hyped. I think it's deserved. You know what? They did a beautiful job. Issues aside, I think it's going to be awesome. From what I've heard, we are going to get the same original Pokemon that were in Yellow, but also we'll be getting new ones from the Alola region and some of the later games. Again, there's not a lot of information about it, so, we'll have to see as we go along. But overall, that about sums it up. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys are excited as I am, because I am I can barely contain my excitement. I'm almost jumping in my seat right now. This is going to be great, and I think you guys are going to have a lot of fun with this. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and hit that bell button. Helps me out and helps me grow, yada yada. Thank you guys again. Have a good one.